Real estate is one of the simplest ways to build long-term wealth, and one of the easiest ways to get wrecked if you don't know what you're doing. So this show, it exists for one main reason: clarity. Me and Keith, we're talking deals, markets, financing, flips, all of it, but always through the lens of what's working, what isn't working, and why. I'm your host, Dayton Lindsey, and I promise you that this podcast is going to help you save time, money, and you from painful lessons. So, let's get into this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of First Deal Podcast. On this podcast, I will be interviewing Keith Gillispie. Now, Keith Gillispie has been in the real estate investing game for over 10 years now, and that's basically what this whole podcast is dedicated to. I'm going to be extracting the information from Keith on how you can start in real estate, how you can scale in real estate, and make tons of money. I'm your host, Dayton Lindsey, and here, without further ado, here's Keith. Keith, introduce yourself, man.
Thanks, brother. Well, my name is Keith Gillispie. I'm the owner of REI Automated. Like Dayton said, I've been investing for 10 years now. We've been operating REI Automated for 5 years, and we focus on 3 pillars. Pillar number 1 is education. Pillar number 2 is operating system. And pillar number 3 is support. With those 3 pillars, that's how we get people good results very quickly. We help real estate investors build and scale a successful real estate investing business by implementing those 3 pillars.
Awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and we're going to see where this thing takes us. Sound good?
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. Perfect. So question number 1 I have for you is, what is the goal of real estate investing, and what is the goal of getting your first deal? Is it cash flow? Is it equity? Is it learning? Or is it just proof that you can do it?
Those are 2 deep questions. I'll answer the first one first. What is the goal of real estate investing? At this point, I can confidently say that I've talked to thousands of people who want to be a real estate investor, potentially even tens of thousands. I don't know. But thousands and thousands for sure. And overwhelmingly, the word that is used when I ask people, why are you doing this? Why are you interested in investing in real estate? The word that gets used most often, more often than anything, is freedom. Some people choose to say financial freedom. Some people choose to say like choice freedom or whatever. Some people, it's lifestyle by design. Like, I want to be able to work for myself. I don't want to have to work for the big man. I want to be able to take time off. I want to be able to spend time with my kids. I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, with whom I want, however much I want, as often as I want, whatever, right? But it all typically is going to revolve around freedom and having a choice. So I think that that's probably the reason why most people are getting into real estate. And then the second question, what is the goal of the first deal? I think that the goal of the first deal, everything is between your ears, right? The 6 inches between your ears is what's going to hold you back more than anything else in all of life. And so, you asked, is it cash flow? Is it cash pops? What I think that it is it's building a belief system and changing your identity from a wannabe real estate investor to I am a real estate investor. I have successfully, whatever it is, flipped a house, wholesaled a house, rented a house, novated a house. When you've done that first deal, it will fundamentally change the identity of yourself, and therefore it will change the trajectory of your future. Because if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And the biggest belief building shift occurs when you identify as a new person. Like, I am now stepping into alignment with the higher version of whatever I want to be tomorrow. When does that happen? Typically, that's going to happen when money hits the bank after your first deal closes.
Okay. Is that sort of what happened to you when you first started? Because I know when we were talking before we started, was that you were in the Marine Corps and you had like
you had to take your you had to take yourself from being a Marine, making that Marine income, into a real estate investor. So was that the mindset that you had going into it, or was it a different reason?
Yeah, admittedly, I had a bit of an identity crisis going on because my first deal that I did was in 2016, and I was active duty up through December of 2020. So it's difficult to say I am more than one thing, right? Like I am a real estate investor does compete with I am a Marine. Because a lot of other people, like I'll kind of hoorah Marine Corps for a little bit. When people are in the Army, they say I'm in the Army. When people are in the Navy, they say I'm in the Navy. Nobody says I'm in the Marines. People say I am a Marine, right? We identify as the thing rather than just being a part of a compilation of people. And so it was a little bit of an identity crisis for me as I started doing deals in 2016 and then really started ramping up in 2018, 19, and 20. By the time I got out of the Marines, I was like, okay, I have to be both things. Otherwise, I'm going to let the pride of the Marine hold me back from doing amazing in real estate. But I will tell you that I thought that it was too good to be true up until money hit the bank. And it wasn't the first deal that did it for me, because the first deal, I only made $2,000. And so it wasn't
Really?
a monumental paycheck for me. It was proof. It was proof of concept. I can do this. I can do this hard thing. I've learned a lot. It was a tremendous learning curve. But it wasn't like, okay, I'm good at this. It was like, no, I did it. It wasn't. I wasn't joyously jumping up and down. It was like, I don't know, doing something relatively cool for the first time. I don't know if you have driven a supercar or whatever. Like it's fun in the moment, and you get out and you're like, okay, it's done with. I'm not a new person because of that. So admittedly, my first deal wasn't super life-changing for me when it comes to my identity, because yes, although it was a big learning curve, it wasn't life-altering for me because of the money. It was life-altering for me because it changed the course of where I was going. Because once you realize what's possible, right? It's kind of like a shark tasting blood. Once you realize what's possible, now you get really hungry to go after that way more. And it's a little bit addicting, right? Like making money is fun. Winning is fun. And so I wanted to get really good at it.
Money is lots of fun. So if you were to summarize up those 4 points that I gave you, which was it about? Was it the cash, the learning, the equity, or the proof? How would you structure that then? Because it sounds like proof is kind of on top for you. Is that what you
proof would definitely
suggest
be
other people aim for?
For sure. I don't think that your first deal is about making the money. The money will come so long as you do not quit. Right? That's actually something that one of my mentors said. He said, success is inevitable so long as you do not quit. So your first deal, in my opinion, shouldn't be about how much money can I make. It's just getting it to completion. Once you finish your first deal and money does hit the bank, now you can celebrate and say, I've done it, right? I'm on my way. You're not going to be wealthy after one deal. I don't care how big of a paycheck you think you're going to make. It will not be enough, right? Your first deal, you're not going to retire. So you're not going to be rich and balling after your first deal. Nobody's going to quit after your first deal. You're not there yet. You're going to want to keep going. And so that first deal isn't how much money can I make. It's not even how fast can I make it. It's just getting to the finish line. Frankly, there's so much stuff that you're learning. People don't realize how immersive real estate investing is, because not only do you have to know about the timing of the market, like where are we in the cycles? Are we in a buyer's market? Are we in a seller's market? You also have to know your specific market, like your metropolitan statistical area. How is that? Are we appreciating? Are we depreciating? Are people moving to this town and the population is growing, or is the population moving away? You have to know sales and negotiation. You have to know marketing. You have to know deal structure. You have to know deal analysis. You have to understand psychology. You have to understand your KPIs. You have to understand contract law. You have to understand basic business principles like under promise and over deliver. These are all things that frankly you're going to suck at in the beginning, and that's okay. It's a learning curve and it's a journey, and it's a wonderful thing to be a part of. But just understand that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And the first deal, you're not doing it for the cash, you're not doing it for the cash flow, you're not doing it for the equity. You're doing it for the proof of concept and changing the identity for yourself.
Quick aside, if you're getting value out of this, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below with what you want Keith and me to cover next. It helps the channel out a lot, and it tells us what you want to learn about. Anyways, back to the video.
Nice. So when it comes to the first deal, what would a safe deal look like when it comes to finding a property out there and getting it under contract? What would a safe deal look like to, say, me, for example? I know nothing about real estate investing. What would a safe deal look like for me if you were in my shoes?
A lot of people, like gurus or trainers or whatever, the last 3, 4, 5 years have pushed like very slim, low equity deals. And I feel like it has been predominant, and I've seen too many people get stuck in a pickle this year, or I should say last year, since we're now in January. In 2025, they got stuck in a pickle, unable to sell these houses because they would lose a lot of money, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And they are going to lose money every single month because they're not able to rent it out for for more than what the mortgage is. The reason for this, simply put, is they overpaid for the house. They paid full retail value for the property. Therefore, you can't cash flow it because PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, is greater than the rental amount. And they can't sell it because they paid full retail value for it. Therefore, once you sell it, now you have 6% for your realtor costs, you have 2% for your closing costs. You're probably going to get beat up with negotiation 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8%. You have holding costs the whole time that you have it listed. And even when you're under contract, there's a lot of things that go wrong with this. And so for there to be a safe deal, it's been kind of preached to me ever since I started in 2016. It's been preached to me to buy with at least 30% equity. Why is 30% the rule? Why isn't it 20? Why isn't it 40? Well, if you go back to 2008 and you looked at how much properties depreciated from 2008 to 2011, most of the time they didn't go below 30%. Now, there are some places, don't get me wrong, there are some places that totally took a huge hit, 35%, 40%, some places even 50%. But then there's other places that barely, believe it or not, they barely were affected, 10% at most. However, the median, if you will, most of the time, you're going to be safe if you had 30% equity in the house and you're only at 70%. It's called LTV, loan to value. So using super easy numbers, let's say that my loan is 200, let's go super easy numbers, $270,000. No, $210,000. I'm trying to go with sevens right now. $210,000 is the loan. That's 70% of what? $300,000. So the value of the home needs to be $300,000. And my loan is $210,000. That's 70%. Now, the moment we start flirting with $250,000, well, now, God forbid, it goes down. You could potentially be underwater, which means that you owe more than what the property is worth. This is a problem. So to buy a house safely, you need to have 30% equity in it.
Okay. So if I was looking for my first deal, say, and I found a really nice property, I would need 30% down to make that a viable option for me. Correct?
That's an overgeneralization, but yes. Even if you were to buy terms, we are okay with this. For example, let me give you like just swinging from the fences, just an outrageously good deal. On that same house that I was just talking about, it's worth $300. I'm totally fine owing $250,000 if it's with the seller. It's 0% interest, amortized over 30 years, and I don't have to make payments for the first 5. So I get 60 months of no payments whatsoever, and it's interest. Now, this is ludicrously good, right? This is not going to happen. But am I okay if the value of the house goes down? Frankly, I don't care what it goes down to. I'm not making any payments. So if I were to rent that out, there's literally no overhead. Okay, so truth is found in extremes. This is why I'm bringing up an extreme example. You can overpay. You can pay more than the 70% if you get exceptionally good terms. So there's 2 different ways that we can buy equity in houses. The first is with price equity, and the second is with term equity. So an example of price equity would be that $210,000 that is being borrowed against a $300,000 house. We're at 70% loan to value. So anything less than $210,000 is a pretty good deal, right? Now there's term equity, where term equity, you can pay more than 70%, but we're overpaying on the price. I'm okay overpaying with it's a ludicrously bad 250. Let's go. Again, truth is found in extremes. I would pay $300,000. Well, okay. I think I've shared this with you once before. I'd pay $3 million for that same house. It's only worth $300,000. In today's money, it's worth $300,000. This is going to break some people's brain. $300,000 is what it's worth. I'm willing to buy it for $3 million as long as it's $1 a day for 1 million days. So I have a ridiculously high price. Well, why am I okay with a ridiculously high price? I paid 10 times more than what the value of the home is. It's a ridiculously high price. Why? Well, it's being offset by ridiculously good terms. So this is the fun that we get to be creative with in real estate investing. Is it's always, you're toggling back and forth, your pendulum swinging between, do I get price equity or do I get terms equity? And the best of both worlds, a home run deal is always going to be a combination of both price and terms.
Good shit. Are we allowed to swear on this podcast? I never even talked to you about this.
We didn't set any rules.
Okay. Well, we'll have to figure that out. Until next time, take care, everyone. And Keith, you've been great. I'll see you back here again.
Real estate isn't magic. It's a skill. And the people who win long term are the ones that keep stacking the reps. That means learning, analyzing, staying patient, and making good decisions. If you want to keep building that skill with us, make sure to subscribe and send this to someone who needs to hear it, because I know you know someone that needs to. Anyways, that's all for today. Take care.